Hello all. Today I will try and do a deep dive into specifically the Fallout 4 faction of the Brotherhood of Steel, because I haven't played enough of the other games to understand their Brotherhood. I mean, I've played Fallout 3 enough to get to meet Sarah Lyons and take down the Behemoth and the GNR Plaza, and I did a Mr. House playthrough in New Vegas all the way up until he tells you to wipe out the Brotherhood, but then they stripped me of all of my stuff. I went into the other bunker and I took out the NCR guy, and then Boone left me, and in a fit of rage and betrayal I shot him in the back of the head with Benny's pistol. So then I started a new pistol in which I beelined directly to the 188 trading post and got Veronica, and it keeps on crashing in the Gomorrah, so I stopped doing that. And Fallout 76's collective psychosis. We all know that. It didn't happen. This video will be split into little segments to make it easier for your viewing pleasure. But now I want to start with the symbolism of Elder Arthur Maxon and the Prydwen. Elder Maxon is the descendant of the founder of the Brotherhood of Steel, so already holds a fair bit of sway in the faction itself, let alone him being Elder. He rocks this battle coat made for him by Proctor Tegan, and he has some gorgeous hair and a lovely beard. He also has a scar on his eye which he got from fighting a Deathclaw when he was 13, and that's very impressive considering when I see a Deathclaw I run away screaming. He is the reason why I joined. I'm sure that in other games like Skyrim, Jarl Ulfric is the reason why people join the Stormcloaks, because he's hot. Elder Maxon is my Jarl Ulfric. So his name, just being Arthur Maxon, is the King Arthur story. He leads his little round table with Ingram, Tegan, Lancer Captain Cade, everyone like that. He leads them into battle on the Prydwen, which is his ship. But it's also King Arthur's ship because it's symbolic. And it shows, I mean, it's pretty impressive that a story that old is still relevant 200 years after 2077. And that's very impressive. With you literally going from a Brotherhood scribe to the top, which is a sentinel, but you go through knights.
Squire.
Yeah, squire.
Squire.
Oh, there's a... Because they're both in there. You literally go from a squire to a scribe all the way up to a sentinel, which is a lot of S's to remember. But with the arrival of the Prydwen into the Commonwealth, which is after you kill Kellogg in Fort Hagen, it's this massive entrance, and people already don't trust him because of this entrance. For example, if you go into Good Neighbor, there are some lines of dialogue that say, Brotherhood of Steel, better stay out of Good Neighbor. That's all I'm saying. I mean, they've built themselves up as this big, heroic faction. But people are scared of them because they are giant metal men that jump out of big planes and shoot laser weapons at you. I'd be scared of them too. The people of the Commonwealth are already flighty, paranoid weirdos, not helped by people like Piper and public occurrences because of the Institute and the synths. This is completely unrelated, but I've always found Piper really annoying. She just grates on you, and you can't even do bad things without her telling you that you've done bad things. My allegiance is like with Kate. I love Kate. She is ones and zeros, but if you're watching this, Kate, I love you. I'm going to cut that there. That is my actual thoughts. I hate Piper so much. Okay. Anyways, back to Arthur Maxon. We see him in Fallout 3 in the Citadel, which is this giant Brotherhood base. We see him and he's 10 years old. To think that man is only 20 by the events of Fallout 4. He does not look like a 20-year-old. The Wasteland has put so many years on that poor man. Yeah, we see him as a child. and he keeps up the same level of cool as he has as a 20-year-old, as a 10-year-old. He doesn't have the scar yet, but, you know, the lone wanderer is still frozen when he gets his scar. But some people believe that Maxon is a synth because he can't be pickpocketed, because he always sees you, and he has this excellent vision and this sort of situational awareness that's incredible, because when he lands at the Boston airport, he immediately sees that Fort Strong is overrun with super mutants, and Fort Strong is a good few miles away. I couldn't see it, and I have a sniper scope. He just looks and sees it, which is very impressive. But we can tell that he's not a synth because we see him grow up through the games. We see him in Fallout 3 as a child, and we see him again in Fallout 4 as an adult. Synths don't grow up, especially 10 years ago, because I don't think the version 3 synths are out yet. I think it was just version 1 and 2. And I've killed so many version 1 and 2 synths, but not Nick. I love Nick. We see him in Fallout 3, and he's quite a lonely boy, except for Sarah Lyons, who's the woman that you meet at the beginning of GNR Plaza that helps you take down the massive super mutant behemoth, this huge thing. I found out later that there's a fat man with 8 mini nukes on one of the Brotherhood's bodies, but I didn't notice that, so I died. But she taught him how to kill by stabbing a person in the kidneys, and if that's not a wholesome brother and sister relationship, I don't know what is. But that's enough about Maxon and the reason why I joined the Brotherhood. I think it's time that we speak about the other heads of the Brotherhood. We'll start this section off with Proctor Ingram, a woman with the tenacity to rival Maxon himself. She's constantly clad in a suit of power armor because her legs were destroyed in a fall from power armor, which just it led to having to have her legs amputated, and she walks around in this special suit.
So she fell from power armor?
She fell from, I think it was a bridge. And
Alright, you said she fell from power armor.
Oh.
You might just want to start that again.
Yeah, okay. We'll start with Proctor Ingram, a woman with the tenacity to rival Elder Maxon himself. She's constantly clad in this suit of power armor because her legs had to be amputated after a massive fall in power armor. I mean, I can jump off the Brotherhood blimp and take no damage, but she has to have her legs amputated. I think that's called plot armor. So that all happened while the Lone Wanderer was still frozen. She is incredibly smart, as she's one of the, she's one of the 3 people that can help you build the Institute teleporter to get into the Institute itself, and she can decode Virgil's plans. I always found that section quite difficult because I could never figure out that you have to snap the pieces together. So I once spent an hour in the workshop menu. I don't like the workshop menu. She also, with the help of Dr. Madison Lee, rebuilds Liberty Prime to destroy the Institute. In the playthrough that I've just recently done to get all of this information, I've made sure to be incredibly sarcastic towards everyone because it's really, really funny. Because they act all outraged, and then they still help you anyway. But that's an issue with Fallout 4's writing, and not with the Brotherhood. So Ingram does, however, have almost infinite patience for my character, which is good because I was very annoying. But Ingram has been nothing but loyal to the Brotherhood, and because of that, she's been gifted the rank of Proctor. She is incredibly hardworking, massively intelligent, and overall just one of my favourite members of the Brotherhood in general. I want to add just a little bit here that I've done almost minimal research, and everything that I found out is from the games and about 20 seconds of Googling. So if anything's wrong or I've gotten anything wrong, I just want you to know it isn't wrong, you're wrong. Thank you very much. Anyways, now on to Knight Captain Cade. Anyways, now on to Knight Captain Cade and Proctor Quinlan. To what I know of, and I've done both of their quests, they are nothing characters. Just a medic vendor and a radiant quest giver. Oh no, I am wrong here. Oh no, I'm not. Ignore me. Oh my god.
I had a break there anyway.
It's just, they're both just there to make some quick caps off of the Brotherhood, but that's okay, because they don't need to be anything, because they are completely and utterly outclassed by Proctor Tegan. Tegan is a man who sort of goes against the general super serious tone of the Brotherhood. He makes jokes and isn't the most serious of people, except after you come back after destroying the Institute, where he tells the player a story about Rico, a Lancer who pilots a vertibird that was shot out of the sky by a raider with a missile launcher. Tegan's story tells the beginning of their relationship, with him and Rico talking every day, until eventually Rico gets his vertibird license and runs straight to the Proctor and gifts him a bottle of whiskey. After we come back, after talking to Tegan, Tegan then gifts us a bottle of whiskey. And Fallout 4 definitely does have its writing issues, but I will admit that one hit me like a gut punch. I was genuinely really upset when I heard that. I had to take a few minutes pause from the game, and then I went back to killing innocents in the Commonwealth. But it shows that even though the Brotherhood of Steel people died for their big victory, the friends that he lost along the way hollowed his victory. But he does have loads of charisma and is very good friends with Proctor Ingram by giving her sweets, which is nice. And now we'll move on to the Pridwin itself. Yeah, the Pridwin is the huge blimp that arrives after killing Kellogg and exiting Fort Hagen. I previously mentioned the symbolism of the Pridwin being King Arthur's ship, but it's also symbolic as a massive crushing force over the Commonwealth, as we quite literally cannot fast travel until Elder Maxon is done making his speech. And even though his speech says that they come in peace, it is still a giant weaponized looking blimp that carries so many Brotherhood members. It's just a big scary aircraft character with an Arthurian name. It's also this symbol of, we are the Brotherhood, we're here to stay. As for the rest of the game, if you don't destroy it, it just lingers above Boston Airport forever. But a fun fact about the Pridwin is the way that people pronounce it. In the early one, I think military thingy A195 pronounces it as the Pridwin. Dance and the others say Pridwin. But in the original Welsh dialect, it's pronounced the Pridwen. And because I forgot about that, I've pronounced it as the Pridwin. So I guess I'm as bad as the others. But it also lacks any automated defences. So even the Minutemen in the castle have their artillery. The Brotherhood has, well, the Pridwen has nothing. It just has a bunch of heavily armoured dudes. And they can't help when an artillery shell is flying at 50 miles an hour to kill them all. The blimp can be destroyed quite easily by the Minutemen, of all people. And this is very off topic, but the Minutemen is such a wasted faction. It's all just Preston Garvey whispering in your ear saying another settlement needs your help. I know, Preston, what do you think I'm doing here? Please shut up. I'm sorry about that. I just find Preston really, really annoying. If he had better writing, he would be really cool. He could chill out after making the player the general of the Minutemen, and they could add a terminal and sanctuary that contains all of the settlements, and as you do their quests it gets ticked off, and that way it would be 10 times easier. Then you could make Preston a decent character. I'm saying this because there's really nothing I can say about the Pridwin that I haven't already said. It's just a big airship in the Commonwealth sky. Paladin Dance, Knight Reese and Scribe Halen are usually the first Brotherhood members you'll see in the Commonwealth defending the Cambridge police station from a horde of feral ghouls. And if you help him after the smoke clears and the radiation zombies are dead, Night Reese is injured and is taken into the police station. Dance thanks us for our help and asks us to go to ArcJet System to help him get the deep range transmitter so he can call on the Brotherhood for help. We have the option of looting the station, and Dance does a cool helmet flip, and we go on our merry way to find the deep range transmitter. Inside of ArcJet Systems itself, we find that it has been ransacked and gutted by synths, and we go to restore building to the power. And we have the option of cooking Dance in his power armor with a rocket engine, which is, if you don't want to fight all of the synths, an option you should take every single time, because Dance is fine. All of the synths die, but Dance is fine. We wander out, and he's sort of curled up on the floor because he's just been cooked. But he's not angry at us. And that should be the first sort of light bulb moment that Dance could be a synth. And so we go grab the deep range transmitter from the body of a synth, and Dance wants us to support the recon team, being Reese and Halen. But unfortunately, Reese is just a radiant quest giver with the personality of SpongeBob, and Halen has some personality, even trying to pursue a relationship with Reese, which he did turn down, citing the Brotherhood as the only thing he cares about. That is quite harsh. Dance also asks us to follow a whole bunch of these distress pulses, with us coming across these grisly scenes of Brotherhood mass extinction. I mean, the first one is a massive crater in a hollowed out building. When you go to inspect all of the suits of power armor, they've been fused shut around the person. You go and loot him, I think his name is Night Aston or something. You listen to his holotape, and he tells you to go to a second location. That second location is filled with ghouls. You take out all of the ghouls, including the glowing one, and then you go listen to that night's holotape. Then you go all the way to this military station. You listen to that holotape, and then it tells you that one of the members survived, whose name is Paladin Brandis. So we go and we find him in a bunker to the north of the map, and he is terrified. He's lost everyone in his team. He's distraught by this loss. And through a series of speech checks, we can get him to rejoin the Brotherhood, and he's actually really helpful during the final fight against the Institute. Or at least I found him quite useful. But we can go back to Reese and Halen for their Radiant quests, but the Brotherhood doesn't really start until post-Fort Hagen content, when the Pridwin comes over and we return to the police station. We now see it bustling with members of the Brotherhood, and we see Dance and Reese and Halen inside, and Dance tells us to accompany him on a vertibird which flies to the Pridwin. It's a very boring section. It's a nothing section. You just have a minigun, and if you shoot too much, it crashes the game, which is what happened to me at least 4 times. I sat there for 20 minutes just reflying over. So boring. When we get onto the Pridwin itself, we meet Lancer Captain Kells on board, and he tells us to go meet with Elder Maxon, and we don't really interact with Dance for a while unless he's a companion, until after the mission where the Brotherhood sends you to the Glowing Sea to get all of the nuclear casings for Liberty Prime. What happens then is we find out that the Institute, the information we got from the Institute listed Dance as one of the synths, and he's run away. The Brotherhood's whole thing is they don't like ghouls, they don't like super mutants, and they don't like synths. Those are the big 3 things. In fact, if you bring a ghoul, super mutant, and synth companion on board, they have little dialogues with the members, and it's all quite hostile. Nick is actually quite funny aboard there, but they don't kick you off. So after that, we get cornered by Scribe Halen, who tells us not to kill him and then relinquishes his location to us. We visit him, and he's a wreck of a man. He's out of his power armor, and he wants us to kill him. And what I learned after I killed him is that you can save him, and save him from Maxon through speech checks, to which he just gets exiled. I shot him in the back of the head with a combat shotgun. I regret that decision, because I liked Dance. He was cool. And Halen is now very upset with me, and says that we aren't friends, before joking around with me about getting the tech for her. Reese is still off chasing butterflies somewhere, because he's a nothing member of the Brotherhood. But then he remembers that I'm a sentinel, and he apologizes for being so brash, and then continues to be brash. I said it was cool. It was not. He's not forgiven. Whew, nearly done, guys, nearly done. Finally, I want to talk about Liberty Prime, because after all, it is better dead than red, as he says. He is the embodiment of my favourite part of all of the Fallout games, minus the gambling. I love gambling so much. It's the dark humour of the Fallout games. He is a commie-hating, freedom-flying, Imperial system using, eagle-headed, red-blooded American robot man. His very existence is so funny, because he's just walking overkill that decimates everything, including the Institute forces, and it's so funny just seeing him and the synths teleport in. You target them in VATS, only to see that this massive 80-foot tall robot has just thrown a nuclear device at them. It's so funny. He's the other reason why I joined the Brotherhood, because there's this massive build-up in the Boston airport as he's being built. You can see him. He starts off as just a chest, then you go get the magnets, and then he's a chest with arms and legs, then he's a head, then he's a head with nuclear weapons, then you press the button, and he's online. It's so funny. And it's also a good way to build up more of a relationship with Madison Lee and Proctor Ingram. So it's nice. You just get to chill out, and you can look past all of the super mutants, ghouls, raiders, and other enemies to just chillax with the tinkering noises, and it's just nice. I don't have all that much to say about him, because I haven't played Fallout 3, but all I know is he's dumb and he's funny.
Liberty Prime is online. All systems nominal. Weapons hot. Mission: the destruction of any and all Chinese communists. America will never fall to communist invasion. Obstruction detected. Composition: titanium alloy supplemented by photonic resonance barrier. Probability of mission hindrance: 0%. Democracy is non-negotiable. Death is a preferable alternative to communism. Communist detected on American soil. Lethal force engaged. Tactical assessment: Red Chinese victory. Impossible. Communism is the very definition of failure. Communism is a temporary setback on the road to freedom. Embrace democracy, or you will be eradicated. Democracy will never be defeated.
In conclusion, I just like the Brotherhood. In all games that I've played that have the Brotherhood in them, I like them. You might not. If so, you can tell me why. If I've missed anything, please remember that this is why I like them. Some of this is just me, and I like to have fun with it. If you don't like it, oh well. Have a good one.